is. Dude, what the hell? You can't hook to that. Just keep on. Just keep playing music. Tequila. You gotta time it out just right. Any System of the Down song, you can't have stuff. Whatever that was. Gotta be like 50 songs or something.
Whatever, everybody. That was just a little bit of a little bit of a warm up. What up, JD Boxing, Unrival Boxing Talking News. We got Brian Harkin. Just a moment. Yeah, I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose. See, right now I can't edit, so trying to be a little, I know it's like lazy creativity, but that's only because I don't have the tools right now to do like my real creativity. So, I want to set the mood somehow for these lives. So, this is gonna be more lighthearted. But what up, Boxing God 7? No, 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 no. Well, first off, this is Cyberpunk 2077. I'm not gonna play it. I just put it in the background. It's just basically so the background is, it has somewhat of a nice visual while I talk to you fine folk. What up, Bruce Goes? Toby Bartlett. Yeah, but thank you. I thank each and every one of y'all for showing up. Um, First off, let me get a couple things out of the way before we just shoot the shit. The What up, Boxing Lounge? So, a couple things real quick. First, I just want to apologize for my stream yesterday. Well, I did 3 streams yesterday. 2 of them were really just kind of like tests. Um, and then the third one was meant to be like the actual stream, and it didn't go as planned. Mainly because I think it's my theory. I don't know this for sure, but I have a theory because what ended up happening is everybody was saying that I was cutting in and out. It was very choppy. Um, at the end there, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and end the stream because there ain't no point in doing this stream if y'all can't really hear me. It's not enjoyable for you to hear me in spurts. I'm assuming that right now I sound fine, and if at any point it starts chopping up, please let me know. But my theory is, see, when I did the second stream that I did, that the stream that I did leading up to me going on lunch, um, as far as I know, that stream was going off fine without a hitch. Um, this stream or Then I went to do the, the one about how Deontay Wilder is not this era's Ali, and I started having problems. I think the difference between that stream and the stream before it, my girlfriend was asleep. And so when she woke up, she got on her phone, she started using up bandwidth um with the, with being connected to the Wi-Fi. So between the PlayStation going off that Wi-Fi and my tablet going off that Wi-Fi, and now my girlfriend doing stuff off that Wi-Fi. Oh, and not to mention my work computer, um, that is also on the same Wi-Fi. Um, so you got all these devices, and I think her jumping on, and I'm not gonna tell her not to use the internet. She we don't have cable. We cut. I I cut the cord long before I even met my girlfriend. Like I haven't had cable for a long, long time. Um, but uh, but yeah. So I'm not gonna tell her not to jump on the, not to get on the Wi-Fi. So I think that's what happened. So I do apologize. So I think from now on, when I do these PlayStation streams, because there's no way for me to go off of any kind of data with a PlayStation. It's Wi-Fi or nothing. So, um, when it comes to these PlayStation streams, I'm gonna just have to do them early in the day. And if I'm gonna do any streams later in the day, I can uh I can just use StreamYard. I can use my data. So I do apologize for that. I think I am gonna try that stream again. I think I want to gather my thoughts a little bit better before I do so. Um, Another thing, there was somebody who showed up in that stream who started saying that I wouldn't understand because I'm not African American. All right. If you truly feel that way, then why the fuck are you coming to my stream? That's my question. You say I'll never understand, then go then go listen to somebody who does. I don't get that. All right. There's a lot of people who complain about other people in the YTBC. All right. If I don't like your content, I'm not gonna go to your channel. I don't like everything I know about what the BFTBs and the Fanons and everything I know about those guys is because of what I hear from other people. I don't enjoy their content, therefore I don't watch their content. Everything that I know about them is pretty much secondhand because of that. So why, if you don't feel I have anything of value to bring to the conversation, why would you come to my stream? That don't make no sense. So that's all I gotta say to that person. Like, you're not gonna come and heckle me and talk shit to me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, um, and not get some flame of your own. So, but yeah, not I don't really have like a specific agenda for this live. Like I said, like we just shooting the shit. Um, I'm like I said, for those of you who weren't in those streams yesterday, there's a feature that I can use where your comments that you type will be read out on the screen as like a text to speech um feature, and I do want to do that. But there's a couple things I need to figure out before I go that route, and part of that has to do with me ensuring that people understand the rules, because I can't be having racial slurs and shit on my live, uh because that essentially gives you guys a lot of, not just you guys but anybody who comes into the chat, a lot of power. So the other thing is the way that I'm doing this, I may not be able to hear it. Well, I mean, I can still read the comments, and it's not like I have a full flood of comments or I can't keep up with them. So maybe that's not so much an issue, but I would like to have the ability to hear the text to speech myself. Um, I mean, I can hear it if I'm in the bedroom with the PlayStation, but I'm not gonna be in there. So just a couple things I need to figure out. But also, Mark did a live yesterday, um, talking about the congratulatories from Wilder to Fury. Um, I think y'all should go ahead and go check that out. I'm not gonna tell you what his take on it is because y'all need to go check out that live for yourself. But very good live. Also, Boxing Lounge. He he's uploading videos of gameplay from Fight Night. He actually did um a Fury versus Wilder video for anybody who is interested in that. Give me a moment. Let me take a look at some of these comments real quick. Exactly, Toby Bartlett. Exactly. Like, and that's the thing. There's a lot of people who just want to write off other people's opinion based off of shit that, like, all right, am I African American? No, I'm not gonna, like, I've never shown my face, but I'm not gonna come on here and tell you that I'm something that I'm not. And I'm not African American. I have African Americans in my family, but I myself am not African American. Um, but I have no control over that. Like you're going to say that I don't have a valid opinion based off of something that I have no control over. You know, if if I'm somebody who chooses not to watch boxing, okay? I'll give you this example since we're in the boxing community. If I'm somebody who chooses not to watch boxing, but then I want to go and give a whole bunch of opinions on boxing, then yeah, you have every right to say that I don't have a valid opinion. I refuse to watch the sport, yet I want to put in my 2 cents along with everybody else. That makes sense. I have no control. I didn't choose to be what I am. I am what I am, which is a fucking human being, all right? So I have, and here's the thing, I gave legitimate criticisms. I gave legitimate reasons, all right? Like, okay, then why did he fire the black trainer? Oh, because he didn't listen to directions. Well, first off, trainers give directions, they don't take directions. Second, if you're going to go that route, was it not JD's directions to go and make sure that Fury didn't have his gloves loaded? And if you eh, if you truly believe that his gloves were loaded with egg weights, then that means that the white trainer also didn't listen to instructions, which means he should also have been fired. See what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, it is what it is, man. You just have people who they want to push a narrative, they will ignore inconvenient facts while magnifying their own opinion. So it is what it is. No problem, Boxing Lounge. Yeah, definitely check out Boxing Lounge. Like he puts in a lot of work because you have to understand on Fight Night there is no Tyson Fury, there is no Deontay Wilder. That game that game came out when uh probably before they were even in the amateurs. So they don't exist in it. So what does Boxing Lounge have to do? He has to go and he has to create them. All right. And he doesn't half-ass it. He doesn't just say, "Oh, this guy be white, so I'm gonna just make a white dude, and this guy be black, so I'm gonna make a black dude, and this dude he kind of looks shitty color, so I'm gonna make a shitty color dude." See what I'm saying? He doesn't do that. He legitimately puts in the work to try to get them to look as close to the real deal as the tools within the fighter creator in the game will allow him to. And it is not easy to do that. That takes a lot of tinkering and playing around, and it could take he could spend hours on making just one boxer. You know, the height, the weight, that's the easy part. But getting the facial features and all that, that ain't easy. And I have to say, given the limitations, because Fight Night round three has a lot of limitations as far as creating your own boxer. If you're trying to make somebody specifically, it has a lot of limitations. Given those limitations, he does a damn good job. So please go check out his channel. Go check out, those fights. See how they play out through a CPU. Because if I'm not mistaken, that's what he does. He does the CPU versus CPU. And but yeah, definitely go check him out. Just a moment. How dare I run around using logic? I know, right? The nerve of me. I'm a fucking asshole for using logic. But I mean that's what it is, man. Like, all right. Earlier today, I saw somebody asking about this is the first time I ever heard of it. It's called Latin X. Apparently, it's like an attempt to kind of, for lack of a better term, I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it's the closest thing that I can think of is to it kind of like the Latin version of Black Lives Matter, all right? I'm like, what the hell is this shit? Like, there's no need for this. I don't need to be told that I'm a fucking victim, all right? I don't. Like, here in the States, people here who aren't from the States. Here in the States, the stereotypes and shit that said about my race is like, oh, you could go to Home Depot and pick up, 15 of these guys and pay them like $5 each, and you know, they'll do all your landscaping. That's the stereotype. Uh, I've never worked a job like that. Never. All right, never, ever, ever. First job I ever had was working at the local zoo, and no, I didn't work with the animals. All right, you you want to talk to somebody who works with animals? Go talk to LT. He could tell you all about rhinos fighting. But when I worked for the zoo, I didn't work with the animals directly. I worked in the food service. So basically, it was like working at McDonald's, but maybe like a step up from that. All right. So even my first job was like kind of a step up from the typical first job here in the United States. Okay. And I worked in retail. My first couple jobs was doing because my next job after that, I worked for a museum doing the same shit. I wasn't working with the exhibits. I wasn't giving tours or anything like that. I was strictly working in the restaurant over there. Then from there, I ended up working in at the airport. Not for the airport directly, but I worked for one of the rental car services over there. Then from there, I worked in retail in a store. And then after that, I did a brief stint in construction. When I say brief, I'm talking about literally like 2 months. And then after that, I went into really just corporate America because I worked in banking for 11 years after that. And I'm still working in banking to this day. So, in none of that did I ever pick up a lawnmower. Did I ever pick up a weed whacker? It's just not something that I've ever done. That being said, me being a Latin American, I don't need fucking Latin X to tell me that I am oppressed, to tell me I should be depressed because I'm oppressed. Fuck that. I don't need that, all right? I know how I was brought up. I grew up in a working class family. We weren't rich, we weren't poor. We were, we were what we were. Anyways, this is supposed to be boxing talk. I'm over here talking about a bunch of other shit. Uh, Boxing Lounge, what do they say about the construction industry? Are you talking about how the men just whistle at the women and shit? Yeah, that is true. If that's what you're talking about, that is very true. Um, because when you work in that line of work, you don't really work with around a whole lot of females. Uh, when I was working construction, um, I remember seeing maybe two women working the the project we were working on. We were working on a museum, funny enough, a art museum that they were building in St. Pete, and there was I I I specifically was doing air conditioning. We were installing air ducts and that shit. That way, when the museum opened, it would have air conditioning. That's what I did. Um, the women that I did see working, they were doing like the light work. And I'm not saying that to demean women. That's just, it is what it is. That's what they were doing. I think they were like bringing in cans of paint and shit like that. It wasn't anything too strenuous. Um, I was actually working with my dad because my dad, we were working for the same company, and I was doing like the duct work. He has experience in welding, so he was also doing air conditioning, but he was doing like the heavy duty shit, the piping and all that shit. So, but yeah, you don't. If that's the stereotype that you're talking about, yeah, it's true. Oh, no, it couldn't be further from the truth, man. They, I don't think we seen, I don't think we seen, I seen anytime that a woman, like if we're on break and we're out there getting something to eat at, over here they call them roach coaches. It's basically like a little food truck. These there'll be these guys who they buy a truck, they invest a bunch of money into food, they drive around to these different construction sites, and they sell shit. A lot of times they're selling chips and stuff. Sometimes you get sandwiches. Anyways, we'll be out the roach coach, and you see these guys, they act like they never seen a woman in their life. Because we're at the roach coach, and basically over there in St. Pete, where they were building this. All right, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna talk boxing after I finish this story because I realize I've gone way off the rails. So but yeah, so where this was like right by the water over in St. Pete, and it was a nice area, but there was young women who like to take jogs over there by the water, which is across the street from where we were working. So I seen these guys act like they never seen a woman in their life, whistling and all this stuff. And me, I've always been like more reserved. Like I ain't the type to do shit like that. So I was just, I grab my lunch and I'd keep it moving. But that so if that's what you heard, Boxing Lounge, no, that is not true. It's not true what they say. They're not into the Franks and the Beans. They're very much into the opposite sex. What up, Brown Gone One? I agree. Yeah, thanks, Brown. Gone one. Oh, what up, Ness Mendoza? Hold on, I'm just trying to. I'm not familiar with that Simpson episode, but if they did something like that, yeah, that was a lie. Nope, no weed whacking. No, I've never done any of that. Not for a job. I've obviously mowed lawn. Like when I was a teenager, I used to mow our lawn. Um, and I remember one of my, oh, hold on. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've never done it for a living. Um, One time my dad's friend offered me money to mow his lawn and I did it. But I was in high school and I don't count that. That's not a job. Like he didn't want to mow his lawn. I was willing to do it. I was a teenager who didn't have a job. I wanted some money in my pocket, so that's what I did. But that's I mean, if you want to count that, then yeah, I guess I fall into the stereotype. I don't really count that. I'm never, you know, you never you you never see me at the Home Depot waiting for work. I'll put it to you that way. That was never me. It never will be me. Like, come on. I'm over here. I'm on the clock right now talking to you guys, right? Like, technically, if I wanted to, because work is so slow, technically, if I wanted to, I could go into my bedroom, fire up Twitch, get to the point where I'm an affiliate and I can start making some kind of money on top of it. Wouldn't be enough money to make a living, but it would be a little extra income that I'd be making at the same time while I'm working my actual job, you know. But that was one thing. Like my dad, he was very. I promise, I'm gonna get into boxing after this. My dad, he was very adamant about me and my brother making a living with our heads, not our backs. All right, let's get into some boxing. Enough about me. Let's talk about boxing. Hey, what up, UGC Flame? Thanks for stopping by. But um, but yeah, the so real quick, and I mentioned this yesterday. I guess Terrence Crawford, he's saying that he could beat Canelo, but Spence needs to stay away from Canelo. He didn't say why, but I'm assuming he's alluding to that Canelo would whoop his ass. Um, I agree with the second part. I disagree with the first part because Canelo has skill. I mean, Terrence Crawford has skill too, but Canelo has skill. He also has the size advantage. He also has the age advantage. Um, and yeah, Terrence Crawford, you're my guy. You're my favorite welterweight. I wish you nothing but success. I really hope you become the undisputed champion at welterweight. Um, and I think that the way that a lot of these other welterweights have ducked you has been a big disservice, not only to us, but to you as well. So, but Terrence Crawford, I'm keeping it real. I don't think you beat Canelo. Like I said, he has the size advantage, he has the age advantage, and it's not like he don't have any skill. He has a lot of skill. Some may even argue that he has more skill than you. That to me that is a legitimate debate. When I say that, I mean, well, people can make the argument in your favor as well. So it's a legitimate debate. But yeah, you ain't beating Canelo. Uh, uh-uh. I just gotta keep it real, man. That's just, skill can only get you so far. That's what. you know, that's why picking the Usyk, if Fury and Usyk were to fight each other, it's kind of hard to for me to pick. And there's some people who will say, well, Fury, his best win is beating a mediocre Wilder, and I could definitely understand that. When I say mediocre, I'm not saying that Wilder isn't dangerous. What I'm saying is that he lacks a lot of skill. He relied heavily on his power. We'll see if he continues to do that when he comes back. Uh, Supposedly he's coming back in April. He's not coming. One thing's for sure, he's not coming back any sooner than April, because he has officially been banned from boxing for 6 months. So he it's going to be April at the soonest. They're saying April, but remember what happened with Spence. All right, he said he's going to come back like in the following June. He ended up not coming back until 6 months after that, or 5 months after that, whatever it was. It was not it was not when he said he was coming back. Actually, he said he was coming back in May. But anyway, he wasn't even banned. So we're talking about somebody who's banned from boxing due to his being knocked out. So at the earliest, he'll be back in April. But we'll see what he looks like, if he's still gonna be looking for that right hand, or if he's gonna pick up some tools and training leading up to whatever fight he ends up taking. I can't blame him for taking a light touch, all right? If he takes on fucking if he fights Eric Molina a second time, I'm not gonna be mad at it. He needs a light touch. He needs something to bring a little bit of a confidence boost, um, to get him in the right frame of mind. Um, and I think that'll help. Uh, but I think Wilder needs to not be looking for the knockout. He needs to be looking for ways to improve his technique. It sounds nice when you have a higher knockout KO, knockout ratio, but it's not so nice than when you get to that guy you can't knock out and he whoops your ass. So that's what I think Deontay Wilder needs to do. He needs to stop with the yes man shit. If he wants to keep Malik Scott, that's fine, but I think he needs to have a sit down with Malik Scott and say, look, what we tried last time didn't work, and that's my fault. All right? We're going to try it your way now. I need you to not be a yes man. I need you to be serious with me. Tell me what you would tell anybody else. Forget that we're fucking friends. I am your latest prospect, and you you train me the way that you see fit. That's what Deontay Wilder needs to do. All right, let's take a look here. Is Bud chasing this fight for legacy or for the money? Bud isn't trying. I don't think Bud is trying to make the fight with Canelo. I think he's just talking shit, if I'm being honest. And you know what? That's that that's a good thing because he hasn't been able to sell yet, so he should try something different. And he's tried the not talking shit, and it hasn't worked. So I disagree with him on his stance. However, I don't necessarily disagree with him saying it, because if he can get some buzz by riling up some, by ruffling up some feathers, um, that could improve his numbers. It's not gonna hurt his numbers, that's for sure. So he could he could improve his viewership. Um, Granted, he's gonna improve viewership just by fighting Sean Porter, but he could even, and maybe that's what he sees. He's like, hey, this is the biggest fight I've had so far. Let me capitalize on this. Let me ruffle some feathers. Let me get some eyes on me. He might get some Canelo fans who want to see him lose, so they might buy the pay per view. Going the Mayweather route. So now that I think about it, It might be what he's trying to do. Um, I mean, Bob Arum sure as hell ain't promoting them. I mean, he pays them to, but he don't. Um, but yeah, as far as the statement itself, I can't agree with the statement. But yeah, I don't think he's trying to make that fight either. What up, Boxing Jedi? Yeah, like that might be what it is. You know, Canelo has some very dedicated fans. That's the word that I'll use. Some very dedicated fans. If I'm being honest though, most boxers do, like the big ones at least, have dedicated fans. I mean, we see what's going on with Wilder, but it's been going on. You know, he got beat initially in February of 2020, and we're still feeling, you know, we're still seeing how dedicated his fans are till this day. So, let's see. I know there was something else I wanted to talk about. Like I said, there's not like a specific agenda, but I do these things that, you know, usually with at least something in mind, though. So I'm seeing some other shit about this Latinx. Boxing Jedi, real quick. And anybody, actually, you know what? Let me not be a hypocrite. Everybody in the chat. Have y'all heard of this Latinx bullshit? I was like shocked. This was not something that I ever heard of before. And when I heard of it, I looked it up. And I feel like it's something that's not needed. We don't need to be told that we're fucking, you know, if you're Latin, that is, you don't need to be told that you're fucking oppressed. All right? We don't need that. But even if you're not Latin, have y'all heard of this? And if so, like, can you give more insight? Because this is something that I just heard about today, and apparently it's been a thing. Um, I'm offended not because of uh, anything else other than me being Latin. Nobody's even thought to talk to me about this shit. Jedi say he's heard of it and is dumb as while his intellect. Yeah. Toby, but you're across the pond, and I'm not invalidating what you're saying. I'm saying you probably haven't heard of it. Well, I mean, that's not even a good excuse. I haven't heard of it until today, and I live here. But I think it's still more accessible to me than to you because you just because of where you live. But thanks for chiming in. I still find what you say valid. It's just I think that's why. It's because if I'm not mistaken, you're across the pond, so it's gonna be it's expected that you wouldn't hear about it. Is what I'm saying. Okay. Brown Gone one's heard of it. I can't believe I never heard of it. Um, yeah. Like let me see let me see if I can find the post real quick that I saw. All right. The guy that I saw say it, I think he's Latin. I think he's Latino. Oh, he just said, "What the fuck is Latinx?" That was it. So then when I went, that's what it was, and I went to look at the replies, and yeah, started seeing like a cheap tactic that certain people use to degrade and gaslight Latinos and Latinas. Stupid woke shit. Let's see. Somebody says has nothing to do with being woke. Even people on the left find that shit weird. We are Hispanic, not Latino. So yeah, I was, I saw this and I was like, I've never heard of this before. Like I never heard of this before today. Like I saw that and it piqued my interest. So I go and I look into it and I was just like, what is this? Like this is not needed. This is not needed, right? Um, Something that I find weird is that people want to take their struggles of the people who came before them and make them their own. Okay. Now, let me make something clear. I do think people should be looking into the history of their people, but I don't think it's so that they can try to pick up some cards to play down the line. I think it's to learn from people's mistakes in the past. There's an old saying, those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it, you know? So, and we see that today, all right? And I want to be very careful on how I word this because I don't want to be taken out of context or in the wrong way. But there's some people who are going to do that anyways. So fuck them. But if we take a look at the certain individuals, I'm gonna put it that way. I'm not gonna say a certain community's name or anything like that, but there are certain individuals, and when I say this, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about, that they know the history, but they haven't really studied it. Okay? Because if they did, they claim that they're against racism. Um, you know, they know about the fact that they were segregated and that they couldn't drink from this water fountain. They knew that when they got on this bus, the only place for them was in the back. But these same individuals want to separate themselves from anybody who doesn't look like them. See what I'm saying? They haven't really studied history. They know what happened, but they're repeating the same shit. They're doing it. They're doing the very thing that they're complaining about. The, supposedly, what how they were oppressed is what they want to keep going today. So, I mean, to, so yeah, I do think that we need to be looking at our history, but like don't act like you were enslaved when you haven't when you haven't. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm just saying. All right, we need to be trying to move forward, and we have a lot of people in the world today who can't see past 400 years ago. And like I said, I'm not saying that you act like it didn't happen. I'm not saying that you ignore it. What I'm saying is you got to be willing to move forward. That's what I'm saying. I'm not insensitive to what has happened in the past. I'm saying if you ain't willing to really move forward, then you're not really looking for an improvement. You're looking to bitch. That's what you're doing. Now, when somebody actually does some racist shit to you, somebody does come to you calling you the N word, then yeah, you throw that shit in their face. But if that's not what's going on to you, with your situation, then you gotta try to move forward. And when some ignorant ass fuck tries to step to you, you flame them with the truth. What quote is from Modern Warfare 2? The quote about those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it. That was long before Modern Warfare 2, because I heard that quote when I was in high school. When I was in high and I graduated in 2004, so that was long before. Because when Modern Warfare 2 came out, I was already working for the bank I was working for, and that was many years after I'd already graduated. So it may have been in Modern Warfare 2. That's not where it originated. And it's something that is said here in the United States quite often. Maybe it's just something that's not said over where you're at, but all right. Fair enough, but I'm just letting you know I heard it first when I was in high school. Um I don't remember the teacher's name, but I remember exactly what he looked, because he wasn't like, I was in summer school. Uh for those of you who don't know, I have I struggled in school. So I pretty much went to summer school every year. And but I remember one of my summer school's teachers, because over here in Florida, it got to a point where all the summer school kids had to go, like, in each, I think in each county they would pick one school. So one elementary school, one middle school, one high school, and all the kids had to go to that school that had summer school. And the teachers who were teaching summer school weren't necessarily from that school. So it was some teacher from another school, and he was the first one I ever heard tell that quote. And I must have been like in 10th or 11th grade summer school when when that happened. When I heard that quote. So that was the first time I ever heard it. That was a good, let's see, I was 22 when I started working for the bank. So let's see, from 18 to 22, that's 4 years. So it was at least 4 years, but it was more like 5 or 6, because I wasn't a senior in high school when I heard it. All right, so, but let's say I'm not remembering it fully correctly. I know, I mean, I didn't have a teacher when after I graduated, so it had to be while I was in school. So let's say I am wrong and I was a senior, right? At the very least, it was 4 years. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. It just boggles my mind how people, they're so desperate to get like that bargaining chip, to get that trump card. Um, I just like to do shit on my own merit. I don't. When I'm in the room, I don't need all eyes on me. All right, I'm, I am who I am. You either fuck with me or you don't fuck with me. All right, and I think you guys see that, because I've never been the type to really, I'm not looking, I don't talk about my subscriber numbers all the time. I'm not continuously, I've never done a video, not once, where I'm like, hey guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. Before I get started, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. I've never done that. And y'all know that there's channels who do that shit. If you've been on YouTube longer than 2 days, you've clicked on a video where somebody, they have a topic, all right? You see this topic and you're like, all right, this interests me. So what do? You press on the video. But then you listen, the whole first 2 minutes is about how you need to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and to share. it's like I don't even know if I like you yet. What the fuck am I gonna hit the like button for? Let's do like I don't have a problem with people trying to promote themselves, but be logical with it. Like somebody pressed on your video for a reason. All right. Give them the reason to like you. And then remind them, hey, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. You know, if you enjoyed my video, please hit the like button. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. But no, before they even get into the topic, they already want you to hit the like button. They, guess what? Guess what? If you get them to like you first, they'll subscribe and they'll go into every video that they watch and they will hit the like button from the beginning. You don't need to be telling them to hit the like button before they even heard anything you got to say. Oh, what up, James Jameson? How's it going? Exactly. Exactly, Jedi. After the video, after you have covered the topic at hand, then tell people to hit the like button. Now, lives is a little bit different because you're live, and I still don't tell people to hit the like button, but I'm just saying, um, lives are a little bit different because you're trying to get that interaction, you're trying to get people to watch you live. So I don't, so to me, the criteria there is a little bit different, you know. So I don't have a problem with people saying, "Hey, hit the like button on the way in," you know, because it does help the channel to get, like it's cool. The playback game is cool, but it's cooler when when you can talk to people real time. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're using StreamYard. I'm not using StreamYard for this live, but let's say you are. You, on a whim, you can say, you know what? You seem like you have a lot to say. Let me drop the link, and we could talk about it live in HD. Um, so I don't have a problem with people saying to hit the like on a live. Hey, hit the like on the way in. That way, we get more people in here, and we can have the more the merrier. The more people that are in here, the the more complete of a conversation we can have. But when you have a video, the video is not live. So you've already pre-recorded everything. You might as well go ahead and play that first and then tell people to like your shit. But it just seems so disingenuous when it's like, and it's always like this. They're always like super over the top energetic. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being energetic. But when you're like, hey guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. By the way, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget. It's like 2 minutes of this shit. 2, 3 minutes of this shit. If you just telling me what to do, let me tell you what to do. Get into the topic of the video, and then I'll decide whether or not I like your ass. Hold on, because I saw Bruce say something. Worst summer of my life I had to do summer school followed by driver's ed. Oh, I remember they used to tell us that summer school was going away. And as far as I know, here in Florida, I've heard other states have done away with it, but here in Florida, or maybe I shouldn't say Florida, here in my county, as far as I know, they have summer school till this day. But they used to tell us that. They're like, you know, you're not doing too hot, and yeah, we are gonna have summer school this year, but there's a chance that we ain't gonna have it next year. And then the next year would come. For the longest, every school did summer school for the longest, and then out of nowhere is when they started saying, all right, you know what, we're going to send all the kids to these three schools, and those schools are gonna, and it's gonna be teachers from all over the county teaching at these schools. So we ended up having some. I was in middle school the first time they did that. I think I was in eighth grade. I was either in seventh or eighth grade the first time they did that. I'm pretty sure I was in eighth grade. So from eighth to 12th, um, and it's funny because when I was in middle school, I did have to go to a different middle school for summer school. When I was in high school, though, it just so happened that my school was the one that they chose to do. So everybody had to come to my school to go to summer school. Remember when people thought AJ and Wilder were the two best heavyweights? Yep, I do remember that. I do remember that. And eat a peach. Uh, Depending on who you ask, there's certain people who will still tell you that Wilder is the number two best heavyweight. Like, oh man. Let's get into the undisputed talk. Let's talk about that because I've been seeing Ishe Smith has had some stuff to say about it. Um, I'm gonna paraphrase because I'm not gonna go look for the specific quote, but he says something along the lines of, when I was saying that Wilder should step aside so Fury could fight AJ, y'all had no problem with that. But now I'm saying Fury should go ahead and fight Usyk, and y'all have and I thought this was gonna be about AJ, by the way, but it wasn't. He's like, and y'all are like, oh, White needs his shot. White needs his shot. And you know what? I have to agree with Ishe Smith. Now, don't get me wrong. White does deserve his shot. Okay. But if you mean to tell me that we could have Fury versus Usyk next, then I say, yeah, let let's do it. Like I'm all for undisputed. Um, but if Fury is not gonna fight Usyk next, if he's gonna take another fight other than Usyk next, I think it should be White. That's how I feel about it. Now I know that this is gonna be a little bit different because uh, it has nothing to do with Fury. It's the fact that Usyk has a rematch clause with AJ, and AJ has already activated it. So that is we gotta wait for that rematch to happen. And I'm rooting for AJ, but I don't think he's gonna beat him. I think Usyk is gonna beat him again. He might even beat him worse, but I'm still rooting for AJ. AJ is my guy, and may the better man win. Now, if AJ does win, I have a feeling there's gonna be a third fight, um, which will suck. And I'm not saying the fight will suck, and I'm not saying that the fight itself sucks. It's that it's just another roadblock for Undisputed. Okay? I'm a fan of AJ. I'm a bigger fan of Undisputed. Let me take a look here. All right. All right, Jedi. Jedi's gonna air Wilder out. I might actually end my stream and we can all go over there. Eddie Hearn tries to age out Usyk by sitting him on the sideline for 3 years, but it didn't work. Is Usyk? I don't think Usyk is with Eddie Hearn. I don't think he is, and Usyk hasn't been. Usyk's been fighting, but then again, you might be saying like I think because I think it's because the way you worded it. You said on the shelf, but I think what you really mean is like not getting his shot at AJ for 3 years. Which I could, if I'm being honest, I think I would agree. I think that was a strategic move by Eddie Hearn to try to improve AJ's